لعلكم تهتدون ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك هم المفلحون ولا تكونوا كالذين تفرقوا واختلفوا من بعد ما واختلفوا من بعد ما جاءهم البينات وأولئك لهم عذاب عظيم صدق الله العظيم.
So few Asakaji on the Muslim from Tibet. Okay. It said during fifth Dalai Lama, the Ladakhaji from Ladakh first came Lhasa. So fifth Dalai Lama provided one land for construction of mosque. And then Lhasan Mongolian, no, Muslim. Every Tibetan government was a function always. Do you belong Sunni or Shia? Belongs Shia? Shia. So out of my curiosity, those Shia brothers, sisters, raise hand. Then Sunni. Okay. Correct. Oh. The subdivision within Shia, how many? And within Sunni, how many? So I want to say something, the background, this meeting. Since I think recent years, every summer I visit Ladakh. So some Muslim community in Ladakh. So we are very familiar Then fine. You from Langno. Oh, wait. Let me mention. I don't like formality. Complete informal. It's much better. So, every year, whenever I visit Ladakh, some Ladakhi Muslim, I often meet, and then I often just ask them, make a lunch. Delicious lunch. So, and the Ladakhi Muslim and Buddhist, some Christian, of course Hindu, you see, very harmony, very close. So, I never heard there's a problem between Shia and Sunni. And generally in India, also you see, in plain, also you see, I never heard problem, Shia and Sunni. On the other hand, this very moment, some Muslim country, Syria, Afghanistan, and some area, killing in the name of differences of Sunni and Shia. Unthinkable. It's a follower of same sort of God, Allah, and same Quran, and a 5-time prayer, same. So, then when I see television, killing in the name of, see, Shia and Sunni, I really feel all major world religious tradition, you see, carry same message of love. And then particularly within Muslim, as I mentioned earlier, it's the same tradition. So therefore, I think last year, I suggested our Muslim brothers, sisters, India, generally, basically, religious harmony over 1,000 years there. Then within Muslim, Shia and Sunni, it's a very good relation. So now, it is not, sufficient just to keep within your own community harmony. But now time comes to show the outside world where conflict in the name of Sunni and Shia there. So now Indian Muslim should sort of make some effort to show the rest of the world, firstly, different religious, harmony among different religious traditions is very important. Then within Muslim, Shia, Sunni, close relation It actually, you see, 1,000 years, it exists. Now this Indian Muslim brothers, sisters, now time come should be more active for promotion of religious harmony. I suggested, I think last year, isn't it? So in Delhi, if they feel okay, appropriate, then Delhi, one meeting, national level, mainly Shia and Sunni, some serious discussion. I suggested. Although I'm refugee, but sometimes I have more money. So I promise, you see, some sort of holiday, expenses we can provide. So now you organize this meeting. I really appreciate. And I heard some Muslim brother and perhaps some sister from Iran. It's very good. Now, time come, we have to make clear into the eyes of world. Firstly, religious harmony, very important. Then secondly, within Muslim, Shia, Sunni, truly spiritual brothers, sisters. So now, that's the main purpose. Now they arranged and they invited me. And logically, since this idea, I suggested, so I should come. So that's my informal part. Now formality, formal.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama, dignitaries on the dais, the speakers for this afternoon and this morning who are present, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to all of you to this conference on celebrating diversity in the Muslim world, which has been initiated by the Muslims of Ladakh in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, inspired and patronized by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, for which we are all, of course, very grateful. Thank you all for coming. May I ask Your Holiness to kindly address the audience.
Now, since this planet developed over a billion years, then through evolution, it's a different area, different people, different language, different culture. Then also different faith. I think over 3,000 years. So now today, about 7 billion human beings, about 1 billion non-believer. And among those, about 6 billion, you see, different religious tradition. So this, I think, around 3,000 years. Firstly, I think in India, the tradition of meditation we call shamatha. And with that, and also analytical meditation, we call vipassana. In any way, I think India's tradition, ahimsa, karuna, I think wonderful idea. So I always feel India's civilization, Chinese civilization, Egyptian civilization, I think most sophisticated as the philosophy or concept developed in the Indus Valley civilization. And anyway, now today, 7 billion human beings, everyone want happy life, do not want suffering. Happiness is the basis of survival. Suffering is the sort of, because of the causing, diminishing, or disappear. So therefore, each 7 billion human being, you see, want to survive. In order to survive, happiness is the key factor. So 7 billion human beings, everyone want happy life. At the basis of happiness is human compassion. Now, some scientists say basic human nature is compassionate. It is true. We are a social animal. Any social animal, individual's survival depend on rest of the community. So, in order to bring together and taking care, the key thing is love. So from birth, we received maximum loving kindness from our mother. Nothing to do with religion. So basic human nature, individual, himself or herself, more compassionate mind and surrounded with compassionate atmosphere, then that person much happier. And the whole life become much sort of successful. One individual surrounded without friend or affection, then that individual, no matter how rich, cannot survive, cannot be happy one. It is true. Then, moreover, now scientists, they say constant anger, constant fear is actually eating our immune system. So now, be more kind person is nothing to do with religion. Simply, in order to be happy individual, happy family, happy community. So now today, the reality is 7 billion human beings, different continent, different climate, different language, but same human being. So everyone wants happy life. So now, future of East depend West. Western future depend on East. Similarly, South and North. So now today, reality, the entire 7 billion human being is actually one human community. So now, according to that reality, now we really need a sense of global responsibility. It's nothing, something holy. It's something necessary. So therefore, firstly, I always consider I am another human being. Out of 7 billion, I am one human being. So my own future entirely depends on the rest of the world. Rest of the world, peace, happy, I get maximum benefit. Now today's world, in spite of many material development, material facility, but a lot of problem, lot of suffering. Essentially, we human beings created. Basically, as I mentioned earlier, human being more compassionate. When we look children, they don't care what is different religion, different, the nation. So long they play together, they have the oneness of human spirit there. Very good. Then gradually we are getting modern education, so-called modern education. And very much oriented about material value. Then very much emphasis different race or different nation, different religion. So we neglected this spirit of oneness of 7 billion human beings. Now that we need now teach children from kindergarten level. We are same human being. 7 billion, same human being. We need sense of oneness of 7 billion human being. So my number one commitment is try to share other people. We are same human being. When I meet people, I never feel I'm something different. I'm Tibetan. I'm Buddhist. I never feel that. We are same. So long, 2 eyes, 1 nose, same. Except the beer or these things. That's come later. I think no child, when born, with beer. These things come later. So therefore, basically, 7 billion human beings, mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. We all want happy life. We all have the potential of loving kindness. That's the key factor for sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. So I consider I'm one human being. So on that level, my number one commitment is try to share with other people. The basic human value is compassion, loving kindness. on the basis of scientific finding, not religious sort of thinking. Then, second commitment, I am Buddhist. So all major religious traditions carry the same message of love. Now Muslim, Islam case. Those Muslims in Tibet, as I briefly mentioned, very peaceful. No record of quarrel. Muslim, very peaceful. And then also my own birthplace area, many Muslims, very peaceful. Then Islam, one time in Turtuk, in Ladakh, one meeting, one local, the head of the Muslim, Imam, he expressed, any Muslim, they love Allah, so they must love entire creation of Allah. Wonderful. Wonderful. So Buddhist terminology is mother sentient being, entire sentient being. We should feel as dear as your own mother. So in philosophical field, big differences, but the real message is same. We should extend our love towards entire the creature of Allah. And then one occasion, one Muslim, he told me, any person who create bloodshed other than no longer genuine Muslim practitioner. So therefore, you see, we already witnessed many Muslims through centuries in Tibet, very peaceful. And then there are sort of Islam teaching. Main teaching is practice of love, loving kindness. So now that is the reality. Now, unfortunately, we enjoy here peaceful, but next to our neighbor, Afghanistan, killing in the name of Shia and Sunni, and Syria. And then, what is it called? Yemen. When I saw some children, immense suffering, no proper medication. Sometimes when I look at these pictures, sometimes tears come. What is wrong with these young children? So then, you see, we have to make effort, whether achieve or not, you see, to bring a more peaceful world through inner peace. And then different religion, different tradition, mainly different philosophy. Some say there is God, creator. But Jainism and Buddhist according to our sort of concept, no God, no creator. So one time, the Bishop Tutu, very close friend, I respect him. So whenever we met, you see, he always teasing me. He described me as a mischievous Dalai Lama. And I respond, mischievous bishop. So one occasion, you see, he told me, he as a Christian believer, believing in God. So therefore, after his death, he's ready to go to heaven. Dalai Lama, non-believer, so go something different place. There's most probably hell. So in the philosophical field, there is big differences. And within non-theistic religion in India, Jains, and some part of Sankhya philosophy, and Buddhists, again you see differences. The concept of Atma and Anatma. Within Buddhism, there are differences. In philosophical fields, many differences. And within Nalanda tradition, Buddhist tradition, Vivashek, Sodantik, Chitta Mantra, Madhyamika, at least 4 major different schools of thought. Okay, that is useful to different people, different mental disposition, so different philosophical view is relevant. But all, you see, carry the same message of love. So like theistic religion, we all created by God. God, infinite love. So God looks like our Father. One Father, entire world, entire humanity. So we all children of one Father. Infinite love, loving kind, God. So if you seriously thinking this line, and how can you kill each other? We all children of one Father. That's God. And infinite love. Impossible if you truly believe that. Then, according to Buddhism and Jainism, no creator, so self-creation. So we have more freedom to kill each other. So therefore, the different religion all carry same message of love. So therefore, all major world tradition, in spite of different philosophical views, all carry same message and same potential, same effective. So look on this planet, among the around 6 billion believers, there are really wonderful people there. Then, meantime, in the name of religion, killing each other. Not only in the past history, but even today, in the name of religion, killing each other. In Bangladesh, Buddhist, Muslim. And then in Middle East, in Egypt, Christian, Muslim. And then some other Muslim countries, Shia and Sunni. Unthinkable. In the very name of religion, killing each other. Unthinkable. So most of the problem which we humanity facing, except the nature disaster and some other thing, otherwise most of the problem is essentially our own creation. It's big contradiction. Basic human nature, more compassionate. Everyone want happy life, peaceful life, yet create a lot of killing. I think, unfortunately, this wonderful brain, human brain, used for killing. How many different weapons you see create, and how many money spent, produce for weapon. Weapon means killing. And peace, peaceful world, slogan won't help. Peace must develop here. Inner peace. Then real peace come. So most of the religion have the same potential to bring inner peace. Use different philosophy. Okay. So now religious harmony is very essential. So I am Buddhist. My commitment is promotion of religious harmony. Now here, the big question, religious harmony can possible? The answer is 100% yes. Look, India. Over 3,000 years, different religious tradition developed. And now today, modern India, all major religious tradition live together. I always say, pointing, Bombay, Zoroastrian, Parsi, very small community. They carry their own religion, some fire puja, but no fear. In Bombay, millions of Hindus, millions of Christians, millions of Islam, but no fear. So India is the example. Religious harmony is possible. So meantime, now time come, since you see conflict in the name of religion is growing, so we should make every effort, you see, to tell world, to show world, religious harmony is possible, and all religion carry same message. Different tradition necessary, different because of the mental disposition. So we need different the tradition, different philosophy. So now, India should be more active to show the world religious harmony is possible and necessary. Now, in this case, within Muslim, Shia and Sunni, our neighbor killing in the very name of Shia and Sunni. Unthinkable. So now, Indian Muslim should be active to show the world, firstly, religious harmony is important, is possible. And within that, Shia and Sunni, truly brothers, sisters, no basis, no reason to killing each other on the name of Shia and Sunni. So Indian Muslim now should be more active to show the rest of the world the Shia, Sunni, and particularly those Muslim countries. So that's my main reason to suggest our Ladakhi Muslim brothers, sisters. I really appreciate now they implement. Thank you. Then my third commitment is I'm Tibetan. Tibetan, inside as well as outside, they trust me. So I have responsibility is it to think about their well-being. So political matter since 2011, I totally retired. We already have, through democratic way, elected political leadership, and they carry the responsibility. My now responsibility is reminds people, concerned people, Tibetan environment is quite delicate and very important. All major rivers which cover China, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, these major rivers, the ultimate source from Tibet. Now, due to climate change, global warming, there is real danger now. These water resources eventually reduce. So therefore, we should pay more attention about environment in Tibet. One Chinese friend, environmentalist, he told me, according his own observation, the effect global warming from Tibetan plateau as much as South Pole and the North Pole. So he described Tibetan plateau is third pole. This is number one. Then number two, I try my best to educate people, Tibetan knowledge, Tibetan cultural heritage. In India, Nalanda tradition, really, I think most advanced education center, knowledge center. So that since 8th century, Indian Nalanda master, Shanta Rakshita, invited to Tibet. He introduced the Nalanda tradition. One unique thing about a Nalanda tradition is we extensively study philosophy and psychology and logic. So that very useful. So we always emphasis importance of investigation, not just belief, faith. Buddha himself, expressed to us, "Oh, my follower, monks, scholars, should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation." So some of the Nalanda master actually rejected some Buddha's own word. If we accept this literally, it goes against reason. Therefore, we must reject. That's the Nalanda tradition. So therefore, now it become quite clear. The Nalanda way of thinking, emphasis on reason, experiment. So we can go side by side with the modern science. We not emphasis on faith, like that. So that kind of culture we kept alive. So I feel Tibetan as a Buddhist knowledge, according to Nalanda, is really worthwhile to preserve. And we can consider these as an academic subject, not a religious subject, like that. So then, now I, 84-year-old, major portion of my life spent in this country, in India. So now, remaining my life, I'm trying to revival of ancient Indian knowledge about psychology, which is basis of ahimsa and karuna. So now, conclusion, our main purpose is try to show the world in general, particularly Muslim world, there is no basis quarrel in the name of Shia and Sunni. Truly, brothers, sisters, and we should live in the spirit of brotherhood, sisterhood. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Holiness. The first question is from Mr. Javed Layak, a senior journalist, and he has asked, Your Holiness, that India has always welcomed persecuted refugees from all over the world. Shouldn't we also welcome Rohingya refugees?
In Burma, I think about 10 years, many years ago, this event happened. And then Time magazine with one Buddhist monk's picture then described Buddhist terrorist. I feel very sad. Then at that time I expressed Buddhist monk should visualize each Muslim's shoulder Buddha. I'm quite sure at that situation, Buddha come, 100% sure, protect those Muslims. I expressed that. So sometimes such things happen. So mainly, and then later, I also usually mentioned Aung San Suu Kyi, but she feel very difficult position. Some military leader, some connection. So she mentioned like that. So political sort of situation. So now, this kind of meeting, promotion of religious harmony, it is very, I think, very relevant to today's world, including like Kasachoti, or Bangladesh, or Burma. And also some time back in Sri Lanka, Tamil, Indian, and Buddhist, some problems. Basically, the religious group, not adequate sort of close relations. Then sometimes local politicians create some problem, I feel. Next question.
Thank you, Your Holiness. The next question from a political one, we go to a spiritual one. The questioner is Shamli, I believe. If you could stand up. She says that she's grateful for your teachings, Your Holiness. And can you please elaborate how to cultivate inner peace? And Shamli is right in front of you.
Generally, as I already mentioned, believe God, infinite love. We are children of that kind of Father. That also very, if you seriously think, very helpful. Then, non-theistic religion, like Jainism and Buddhism, very much emphasis on practice of karuna. And because self-centered, selfish is the key factor. Most of the negative emotion. And then plus on that, the concept we believe existence as appears. This quantum physics also very helpful. The Buddhist concept, the shunyata, patit samupanda, not independently exist. Nothing exists as appears. Actually, nothing exists by itself, but designated. And quantum physics also is similar. So these are the Pranja site. We practice that to reduce destructive emotion. All the destructive emotion very much based on appearances. So nothing exists as appears. And then, you see, it reduces the kasa, grasping. And then, other hand, ubaya side, practice of bodhicitta, practice of altruism. So these two practice is the key factor to reduce destructive emotion. Then basically, all the destructive emotion based on ignorance. So, no proper base. The positive emotion, such as karuna, proper base, reason. So, we can, through practice, we can increase kasa infinitely. The destructive emotion, for a short period, very powerful, but long run, no proper basis. So, basically very weak. Like that. Next question?
Yes. We will revert, I think, to another political question, Your Holiness. May I ask Mahmoud or Rashid to please stand up? Yes, he's over there, Your Holiness. A dialogue among religious communities is good. But how do you think a dialogue is possible, or is a dialogue possible, between a state which can be patently oppressive and a people continuously who are oppressed? Can there be such a dialogue?
You should ask a politician. I retired politics. Next question.
All right. May I ask Malika to stand up, please? She's asking. Says, with the coming of modernization, we are all adapting and moving towards a westernized culture. How do you think we can sustain our religious practices despite all this? Our ancient practices despite all this?
Kharsa.
Oh, sorry. With the coming of modernization, we are adapting and moving towards westernization. How do you think, Your Holiness, we can sustain our ancient practices despite this?
Modernization is only material thing, external thing. Actually, I have sort of strong view. Existing so-called modern education is actually oriented about material value. So frankly speaking, the modern education started from West. The Western world is only God, faith, no reasoning. In India, over 3,000 years, shamatha, vipassana, thinking. So the concept of ahimsa, karuna develop here. These are training of mind. So just I sort of mentioned, we need education from kindergarten level, the hygiene of physical, similarly hygiene of emotion, very important. The hygiene of emotion, the material, the Western education, nothing. Indian 1,000-year-old the education about mind, about emotion, that's very relevant. So India should combine modern education and ancient Indian knowledge about how to bring peace of mind. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next question, Your Holiness, is from Usha Mujo Munshi. Will you please stand up? Yes. And she asks, how can we build strong bridges across communities to foster spirit of oneness?
Harsa, I think firstly, Easterner, Westerner, Northerner, Southerner can marry and can produce nice children. So that shows sameness of human being. Okay.
All right. There's another question, Your Holiness, from Sayyid Salman Chishti. Can you stand up? Thank you. Sufi mystic saints have always practiced and participated actively in building bridges among diverse societies. His Holiness's words on Islamic spirituality and the part of building bridges. He would like, I think, a few words on how to build bridges between religions.
Karsa, I already mentioned practice of love, compassion. As I mentioned earlier, when I heard that mullah at Imam Turduk is a Muslim, should extend love towards the entire creature of Allah. Wonderful. Different terminology, but the same meaning. Wonderful. I think no major religious tradition is encouraged to kill. No, never. I think we too much destructive emotion, then use name of religion. Actually, this problem, killing, not due to religion, but political or economic reasons. then they use the name of religion. When people, you see, talk about religion, it is related with emotion. So very serious. An emotional level, no room of reasoning. Like that. Okay.
Yes. The next question is from Kachu Isfandiar Khan Sahab, who is standing before you, sir. And the question he asks is a very short one. What is the true state of Nirvana?
Kasa. That's complicated. Nirvana, actually, state of our mind completely purify through deeper understanding of the reality. So all ignorance, not a part of nature of mind, but kasoda, luburwa, chuma luburwa.
These defilements, ignorance and so forth are just adventitious, temporary.
So therefore, can separate. So through practice, here now, just a mere understanding is not sufficient. In Buddhist literature, I think Indian literature, it mentioned learning 3 levels. Firstly, understanding or learning through hearing or reading. Then you yourself think seriously. Then you get the second level of understanding or knowledge through reasoning. That eventually bring deeper experience and constant think. Then some experience develop and some knowledge through experience, that third level. That really affect our emotion. Just mere knowledge, not much effect. And the second level, also you see limited. The third level, Tujung, Samjung, Gumjung, Sati.
So understandings drawn through study or listening to teachings, and then understanding drawn or developed through reflection, and then understanding drawn through that of meditation.
No. Your Holiness, I apologize for being late.
This is okay, no problem, no problem. Right from the beginning, I mentioned I love informal. So you practice that.
Plead guilty. Salam alaikum.
Welcome, Hamid
I think-
Ansari Sahab.
One tea for him. Tea, together.
The next question, Your Holiness, is from Kesa Jigme. If you could please stand up. Yes. How can Tibetan Muslims contribute to religious harmony within the Tibetan community?
Oh, chikparwa. That is me chikparwa. Nge take sad. I mean, the Bevan Chashane, Kaji Nyamni Chinge, Yore, Nija Chumare, Pejeta Law, Jarakashi Shinare. And Ngatya says such a Chashana. And oh, as a religion, This is not connected with racist way.
No.
So you see, being as a Tibetan, religiously Muslim, okay, no problem. As I mentioned earlier, in Lhasa, I think at least a few centuries, some Muslim there. Then my own birthplace area, Kumum, Siling, many Muslims. A Tibetan, at the same time, Muslim, no problem. It seems, you see, some Ladakhi Muslim, some showing interest about Buddhism. So, all right, no problem. Okay.
Next question, Your Holiness, comes from a teacher and educator as Madi Shah. Is it? All right, there he is. And he says, being an atheist, your teaching has been always tolerant and true to my life as a good human being. Can you please explain how to cultivate the value of love and compassion in school education?
Karsa, as I mentioned earlier, you see, everybody takes care about our health and friendship. We are a social animal. Friendship, very important. Friendship, very much based on trust. Friendship on money, on fame, or power, temporary. Friendship, really trust on human level. In order to develop trust, you should show sincere sense of concern of their well-being. Then trust comes. Even animal, when we truly show our affection to dogs, to other animals, they appreciate. They don't care whether rich or poor. So therefore, the genuine sort of friendship very much based on warm-heartedness. So taking care more about others' well-being. Actually, the best way to take care of yourself. Since many years, I use the word, we are as a sort of, or say the living being, taking care oneself. So some kind of selfish there. Now we, without that sort of selfish feeling, we can't survive. Through evolution, through that way. Then we should be wise selfish rather than foolish selfish. Just think yourself. Actually, you see, because of the foolish way. Know your friend, trust a friend. Then finally, you are loser. Take care about other. Then you get friend, genuine friendship. Just for your own interest. So we should be wise selfish rather than foolish selfish. Okay.
The next question is from Syed Maharul Hassan. And he asks, I think it's to be preceded by what is the solution for the fountain of peace and harmony in the world, and particularly among Shia and Sunnis, with a focus on Saudi Arabia and Iran? Excuse me, can you please sit down? Let His Holiness answer the question. No.
He has been to Bhopal, and I requested him that you are the peace envoy, so let Bhopal be declared as a a peace in front of CM and Governor of Bhopal. You remember? And I have photograph. Thank you very much. So please,
Sure. Now, I think the global level and Middle East, or say, Shia countries and Sunni countries, I think mainly political reason. Then, as I mentioned earlier, politicians use name of religion. When people use the religion, word of religion, it is related with emotion. So now, people at the recent, also the event or the situation now, because Iran, some people consider some dangerous place. I don't think. Democratic country, and follow Shia. And then some people deliberately create some sort of, I think, wrong impression. Then Bin Laden and many of his followers come from Sunni side, not Shia, isn't it? Oh. So therefore, in practical level, and in reality, you see, the individual is who, or is the emphasis, the destructive actions. As I mentioned earlier, there's some Buddhists in Burma. As I mentioned earlier, you see, describe Buddhist terrorist. One day, some people may describe me as a Buddhist terrorist. So, you see, these are just nonsense. So you can't say Shia as a whole, Iran as a whole, some dangerous nation. Totally wrong. Among the people, some mischievous people there, but whole sort of community, whole nation. In ancient time, some time back, I met one former foreign minister of Tajikistan and two professors I met. So they mentioned in ancient times some special connection with Tibet and Tajikistan and this area. Like that. They usually call, they told me, they call Tibet Tupot. So ancient time, all these, and Iran, I think up to Iran, I think some connection, whole the Central Asia. Next question? Finished, no?
Thank you. Sorry. And the last question, ladies and gentlemen, Your Holiness, is meditation. Oh, by the way, it's by Kausar. If Kausar could stand up, please. Oh, there she is. Meditation is a time-tested technique to get inner peace, but people associate it with some particular religion. How can we make people understand the universality of meditation?
Oh, I see. Perhaps, firstly, according Nalendra sort of psychology, the five senses of organs, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, so on. And then sixth mind, chit. So all emotion related with sixth mind. Sixth mind, during dreaming, sixth mind is still there. Five sense of organs no longer there. So therefore, training about sixth mind. Firstly, make distinction, sensorial level consciousness and mental level consciousness. Then the important is mental level consciousness, because all these destructive emotion part of sixth mind. So then, sixth mind generally, I think, combined with sensorial, seeing something nice, and then attachment come, or seeing something negative and frustration. So these sensorial, you see, kasoda, something like the ka,
These sensorial perceptions are like door to the sixth consciousness, which bring the information.
So real training of mind means sixth mind, not sensorial. So sixth mind, like another sort of questioner mentioned about altruism and a deeper understanding about the reality. That's the sixth level mind. So that training in the sixth mind, then all sensorial sort of consciousness, then you see, easily can control. Not much effect. So now training of sixth mind, single-pointed mind, that we call shamatha, single-pointed mind. Then on that basis, further investigate. That's vipassana, analytical meditation. So like that. So all these depend on your effort and with fuller knowledge about the whole system of mind, whole system of emotion. Okay?
Thank you, Your Holiness. And I would like to also thank the audience. There are two people on the stage who have not needed any introduction. And I will call now upon the second of them, is His Excellency Honorable Mr. Hamid Ansari Saab, our former Vice President, but also diplomat, scholar, and a man of many dimensions, as I'm learning as I get to meet him and talk to him off and on. Mr. Ansari, may I please ask you to come and say a few words?
Banam Khuda. His Holiness, dignitaries on the dais, and friends. Diversity is such a desirable concept, such a simple concept, a concept which is so easy to understand, because when you look at Jahane Rangobu, nature, what do we find there except diversity? No two flowers are alike. no two trees are alike, and no two human beings are alike. So in one sense, the initiative that has been taken by my friend Professor Siddiq Wahid and his colleagues is commendable. But also, if you think very deeply about it, it should not have been necessary if we had the right kind of understanding of ourselves as human beings. But today's topic is one aspect of it, which is diversity in the Muslim world. Muslims are a global community. Their total number, according to data which is available, is around 1.6 billion. 66% of them live in Asia. 15% in what we know as West Asia, or what Europe calls Middle East. 20% in Africa. India has the second largest Muslim population of Muslims after Indonesia. The number in India, to my understanding, is around 190 million. Now, Muslims are united in their belief and in their language of religion, but diverse in mother tongues, historical experiences, manners, and customs. This is unavoidable given the spread across the globe. Muslims also subscribe to different schools of jurisprudence that developed later. And they relate, to my humble understanding, and with due respect to the dignitaries here, they relate to secondary matters. Historical accidents have crystallized these into hardcore beliefs and practices. Despite these, the unity of faith is best demonstrated at the time of the annual pilgrimage of the Hajj, when pilgrims from all parts of the globe observe the same ritual. So, it can be said that there is unity in diversity and there is diversity in unity. Islam as a faith has been in India, as has been said by Mahmud Mandani Sahab, for a long time, over 1,000 years. The manifestations of Muslim life in India over this period depicts adaptability, creativity, and diversity. It has identified India, it has identified with India without ceasing to be Islamic. It is, in that sense, sui generis. Its experience, nevertheless, can be a model to emulate in other multicultural, multi-religious societies around the world. I may add that it is perhaps our failure that we have not been able to portray this as a model to others and, of course, to ourselves. We lose our way in secondary matters, but this model of living together, living together with diversity is absolutely unique and is rarely found anywhere else in the world. So I'm very glad this initiative has been taken, a microcosmic initiative, but nevertheless a very important initiative which needs to be taken further. And if you, as Mahmood Manani Sahab said, if you want to see the impact of that diversity, please go to the shrine in Ajmer or even nearer in New Delhi itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your words and for speaking today. I would like to prefer a vote of thanks. First of all, of course, to His Holiness the Dalai Lama for suggesting, urging, inspiring, monitoring, and making sure that many of us did our jobs. I would also like to thank Mr. Hamid Ansari Sahab for having come and graced the occasion for us. We know that even though he is retired, he is not really retired. He's just tired. And so I'm glad to see him that way. I would also like to begin, when you are around His Holiness, and I have been from a distance quite a lot, we also learn some lessons. So I think I will begin my thanks after these two eminences by thanking those who have served tea and will be serving lunch and then tea again. I'd like to thank Sumit and his team who were here until about 11 o'clock last night, I believe, setting up the India International Center venue. I would like to thank Zainab Akhtar and her team, if she is here, for the sort of volunteering and coming, the photographers, the audiovisual people who were there last night, all the way until about 11 o'clock or so. I know that there are many journalists amongst us who are going to report, and I'm thankful to them. I must not forget a very quiet and note-taking person, somebody by the name of Nimala, who was helping us all along, has been reminding us very gently and so forth for everything. I would like to thank Mustafa Abdu Saib, who has designed the logo as well as the sort of visuals that you see, and who is from Ladakh, an artist in his own right, and who has, I think, I mean, if you ever go to Ladakh, you must see his work, blended the traditions very beautifully in his own work of art, painting. I would, of course, like to thank Dempa Seringla for his cajoling, his very quiet manner of reassuring us, and also making sure that all things go well. And I think he has done that already. And of course, the office of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, which has supported this initiative with great help. And so I think all these people need to be thanked in the presence of His Holiness and Ansari Sahab today. And last but not least, I'm not going to thank all of you because we need to have the afternoon sessions, which I assure you will be very stimulating because we have, I think, some brilliant people who will be speaking on it and who I'll have the pleasure of introducing. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll call this first very long morning session to an end. And I would invite everybody to lunch, which is being out here, served out here in the patio. And we'll be back here in about 1 hour exactly. Thank you very much. But they also have some gifts for His Holiness and Ansari Sahib, which they would like to give right now. So if we could just wait until that happens.
I remember Iran very frequently. Thank you. Thank you very much. जी जी बिल्कुल मैं जरा